Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Assets of Value podcast. Today, on December the 6th, and every day, we connect to give an industry insider's perspective on crypto, Web3, and NFT topics. We are the founders of Assets of Value, a Web3 research organization. We aim to discuss, inform, and share opinions on the hottest Web3 topics. Our podcast should not be taken as legal or financial advice. Let's dive straight into it. Abe, what are the markets looking like today?
Hey Shwab, Bitcoin is at 17K. You know, the usual story. The market is boring, so I think let's cut to the main event.
Right, so price action seems to be flat, and it sounds like you're getting fed up on this ranging market. But I'd have to agree, it's not moving anywhere. But if we keep with Bitcoin, the mining industry is under extreme stress. We've been discussing this in terms of capitulation and the price point that we think that Bitcoin miners need to stay above. Is that still 21,000, 22,000, especially with the rising energy costs?
I believe so. We have to see that miners of different categories because the miners started out in 2022. There are people from 2015, 2017, and for all these people, the mining cost differ because the machines and their investments are different. And when we see that miners might have a hard deck of 15.8K, we mentioned it a couple of times for our subscribers, but for our new listeners, Bitcoin miners has a hard deck of 15.8K. That means any value below 15.8K means miners will be at massive losses and they will be unable to sustain the business.
We're not far off from that figure, and that could trigger another downward leg in terms of price action. With rising energy costs and Bitcoin mining difficulty also increasing, how does that actually affect the miners? We will see more miners giving up depending on when they started their mining journey.
Will miners give up? Probably. Many of them will. And that's why institutional support for miners is necessary at this point. We have discussed that Binance has taken a step. I think with more institutions coming in support of miners, the industry will survive, then the miners will survive accordingly.
Yeah, I think the next milestone around mining is either industry adoptions or industry backing or the hash rate difficulty and halving events that's coming next year at some point. Russia is on the verge of legalizing crypto mining, unaware that it was actually illegal to mine. Is that only illegal in Russia, or can anybody mine Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency for that matter?
That's complicated, right? Because mining Bitcoin requires a massive energy supply. Most countries have a subsidized electricity distribution system, and Russia is no different. And when you consider that Russia will openly allow anyone to mine Bitcoin, previously it couldn't because there was massive energy crisis. Even in Russia, in Europe, everywhere, there still is massive energy crisis. But currently, Russia wants external money flow into Russia. I think that's the whole point. And let me tell you a different perspective because nobody in the crypto world is talking about this. We saw two moves currently. One, India is strictly against cryptocurrency investment. They are not promoting it and they are shadow banning it by introducing massive taxes. I'm talking at the rate of 35% on your crypto investments in India. It's unbelievable. Second thing is Saudi Arabia wants to join BRICS. So why is this important? BRICS is just a international organization that's headed virtually by India and China, and Russia joins forces with them. And Saudi wants to switch to BRICS to escape the US dollar dominance, and they'll do so by investing more in gold. Now, let's put that fact aside and think about it. The top leadership of BRICS, that's China, it's strictly against Bitcoin, strictly against cryptocurrencies because they have banned it already. In 2017, they banned it. Again, 2019 banned it. 2020 banned it again. And when you consider India, India is not crypto friendly. It's strictly against crypto because we have discussed the reasons. And now there's Russia, and Russia wants to project itself as a crypto friendly nation. Why? Because once Saudi Arabia, a massively rich country, moves to the gold standard, there will be massive demand for gold. And these countries exporting gold will benefit from it. These countries holding gold will benefit from it because the price will be rising. So, what Russia wants to do? Russia wants to control the digital gold, that's Bitcoin. This is the perspective nobody else is talking because it's coming already. We have seen this with Brazil, and probably Russia is being extremely intelligent here. They are being proactive because we know that digital space is going to rule the world. The metaverse will be the new economic paradigm. And once Russia can actively support Bitcoin, they'll be supporting the digital version of the world itself, digital gold, digital payment system. Just connecting the dots, I think this is extremely important to discuss.
Wow, what a fascinating subject that you have touched on there. Bitcoin in BRIC nations, the pros and cons for it. I think that deserves a full length episode in itself. Let's return to this and dedicate a whole show, and we'll give you, our listeners and viewers, notice of when we will put something like that together. Fascinating stuff. Crypto lender Nexo to quit US market over regulatory unclarity. We know that the USA is taking or dragging its heels in terms of providing any type of regulation. Now we're seeing players in the crypto space move or leave USA after discussions with regulations hit a stalemate. Do you think that we're going to see more of this, or is USA reacting too slow?
I think USA is trying to rub salt on its wounds caused by FTX because if we look at the stats, Coinbase and FTX were the top two cryptocurrency exchanges in the US, and FTX was largely eating up the market share of Coinbase. And once FTX failed, the US market and the US crypto investors got hurt. And this might reflect in the elections. Like, who is investing in crypto? It's largely the age group between 25 and 45. And these people are voters, these people are dominating the voting list. You see the connections here, right?
I do indeed. I do indeed. It's something that needs to change. And for me, I think they're taking too long. And crypto as a movement, it just moves so quickly.
Exactly the point. They cannot regulate something evolving at a rapid pace. They cannot just simply make laws which will be taking at least 1 year to implement, and crypto would have moved like decades away in that aspect.
Yeah, for sure. We know that technology always exponentially grows every 18 months or 24 months, and crypto is no different, right? And the traditional mechanisms and support frameworks are just taking too long to push this further from a regulatory perspective. Let's switch gears and discuss our favorite Apple representative, Steve Wozniak. He believes in asset backed crypto. This raises a question because many see crypto as just speculative assets which are not backed by anything. Has Steve Wozniak got a point here when he's saying that crypto should be asset backed by something physical?
I think he has a point, but the point only applies to stablecoins because volatility it's not a boon, but it's a feature of cryptocurrencies. Let's ask Steve this thing. Like, would he be rather interested to back all the Apple stocks with some kind of asset? No, because investors invest in Apple stocks because the price can have positive direction, positive ROI in the coming years. Volatility is the biggest friend of an investor. I don't see a point in asset backed crypto because if the market grows, they'll need to purchase more assets, and it's a death spiral for any project unless it's stable coins.
Well, when we're talking about Apple and its stocks, surely the stocks are being backed by the machine that is Apple and the products that it produces, which therefore brings in all the income. So there is some sort of physical aspect in that regard. Yes, there's a cost associated to producing that, but then that's where the underlying profits are derived from. Most crypto businesses are usually service orientated or technological infrastructure. It's an interesting question, one which Tether has taken a stab at because they recently announced the upcoming launch of Tether Gold with the ticker XAUT and Euro Tether, which is EURT. And that's starting as soon as December the 8th, so in a couple of days. This is really interesting because it feels like these two new stable coins are addressing the risk that Tether currently has. What's your thoughts on this?
Tether is trying to not lose market share to BUSD because Tether understands that gold at this situation, at this financial recession situation, is the best asset to invest in. And investors will be continuously looking out for gold backed assets. That's why BUSD has been the most stable coin in the last year because it's backed by Pax Gold. Now, if Tether wants to capture the market share of BUSD, because Binance is aggressively pushing BUSD, right? And if Tether wants to achieve that, they have to introduce a new gold backed stablecoin. I think that's the only way they can flourish in the market.
It is difficult times. It's not just a bear market that we usually see. Crypto winter is certainly biting. And like you mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, when we look forward to 2023, we can't actually see any new catalyst that could actually lift up price action. But that again is a conversation for another day. That, however, is not stopping big organizations like Goldman Sachs. They are ready to inject millions to invest in crypto firms.
Of course, Goldman Sachs is one of the most interesting organizations to watch because it predicts the accurate timeline or accurate financial situation with so much reliable data. And I think why they are investing in crypto based startups because of the internet. They understand that internet is the communication medium right now. People love to be on the internet and the usage, the monthly bandwidth usage of even the developing nations are going astronomically high. And Goldman Sachs believe that if we grow at this rapid rate, we will need a better technology to facilitate the internet and facilitate the storage needs. The current servers, the current hard disks and everything, they cannot hold this data for long. And at some point, we'll run out of storages, we'll run out of bandwidths and everything. And maybe blockchain or any other ledger solutions is the only way where simple code can store data on it. I think that's the way forward. And let me touch back upon the previous discussion because I believe that having a stable coin, euro backed stable coins, also an opportunity for customers because these European customers will have access to stable coins representing the ownership of physical gold and euro. I think this is very crucial. And looking where the Goldman Sachs come from, it's mainly based on Europe. I think this is a brilliant movement.
Yes, for sure. It's about time that huge organizations like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and the like are moving into crypto. Price is right for them to begin dipping their toes and help shape that regulation, good or bad. And with Tether taking a lead on backing digital currency with physical gold or euro holdings, I think this is an area that Goldman Sachs could also push forward, knowing that they have a trading and an investment arm. Brilliant stuff. Just quickly, as we wrap up, one or two quick words on what you're looking into and what you're currently working on in the background.
I think these weeks are extremely important for long term investors because we have seen that Bitcoin doesn't stay below 16K for long. Even the last week, when Bitcoin dipped below 16.9K for a very short time, it was quickly brought back. And the price always tend to stay above 17K region, at least for now. Unless there's a huge global emergency, I think 15.8K or 15.3K, if you consider the week, might be the bottom for crypto. I'm not saying that we'll be rising from this point. I don't think so. But it'll be more or less stable. The prices will not fluctuate. There will be less volatility. There will be less volume. And we must embrace this situation as the golden opportunity to buy assets that are undervalued right now. Like, just remember the words buy assets that are undervalued, not to buy assets that are valued by an external organizations to be a natural valuation. How do you know you buy an undervalued asset? Look at their profit, look at how much they are generating in a month, look at their market cap. Does it matter if they generate $1 million in a month and they have billions in market cap? And does it matter when they generate hardly $10,000 and they have billions in market cap. I'm not talking about Polkadot in general, but if you know, you know.
Fascinating stuff. Always keeping an eye on the market, even when price action is as flat as it is. As always, super fun. I'm glad you were able to jam with us today. That's it. Until next time, thank you, everybody. We're signing off.